In Elden Ring and in From Software's previous games, historical events seem to crop up all the time, and Elden Ring is really no exception, and it has quite a few. And the one I actually want to talk about in today's video might shock you, for it is a really important event inside of both Elden Ring and in our world, but it seems to have flown under the radar. I do just want to ask that you keep an open mind before you judge this video, as I think there's some quite concrete evidence, but I do understand that people are going to be sceptical. A small percentage of the people that watch these videos are actually subscribed. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe right now, as to be honest, I think that's really silly, but if at the end of the video you have enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel. Without any more dilly-daddling, please sit back, relax, grab some succulent, juicy, tender and sensational prawns if you want, and enjoy as we delve into this very much hidden secret. From the 30th of June to the 2nd of July 1934, the Night of the Long Knives occurred. A purge committed by SS soldiers executing those that opposed Hitler's reign. Straight off the back you might be going, oh, wait a bloody minute. Night of the Long Knives? Night of the Black Knives? Sounds really similar, but there can't be any similarities further than that, can there? It must just be a coincidence. But as you should know from Software's games, coincidences are far and few between. And this is no exception. And please, try not to shoot your colon like I did when I first realised this. I briefly mentioned it when I mentioned the Night of the Long Knives, but it was committed by the SS soldiers, Hitler's personal guard. He was growing restless with the SA, so he sought to make an army that was devout to him and only him. He wanted them to do whatever he asked, and the first test of that was this purge. This sounds very similar to the Night of the Black Knives. Ranni supposedly sent these numerous assassins, the Black Knives, to go and assassinate Godwyn the Golden and the other demigods inside the capital. At first glance they don't seem connected, but they really are. First of all, the numerous assassins are closely related to Ranni, because Ranni is in part Numan. Ranni is Radhagun's daughter. Rykard confused like the shaman. We are told he is Marika's other half, but this seems definitive proof that he is at least family to her. So, considering the fact that Ranni is a Numan, these assassins are her family. Although the SS aren't family to Hitler, I think there's a point to be made that there are some similarities with loyalty. On the second point, which I think is even more convincing, is the reason why these two events occurred. Both events occurred to conciliate power. In Hitler's case, it was so no one could oppose him. All that was left was a desperate country, and they followed his lead. In the same sense, although it's never directly stated, I believe that is the reason why Ranni did the Night of the Black Knives. I believe she was trying to strike out anyone who could usurp her. As it stands, she was an emperyan, one of three inside the lands between. We know emperyans can be male by Miquella. So knowing that there are tons and tons of demigods inside the capital, knowing the cold and pragmatic brain of Ranni, she's going to want to get rid of them. She's going to want to get rid of anyone who thinks they have a claim to be a god. And so she does that, and the Night of the Black Knight occurs. This action took by Ranni would have shown a message to anyone that would want to stand against her claim. Just like Hitler did. Not only did he kill and execute all those that opposed him, it was basically the equivalent of a nuclear deterrent. Nobody wanted to fuck with him. The Night of the Black Knives isn't the only inspiration. After World War I, Germany was in a lot of shit. It was a time of civil violence and strife. And that is how the Nazis were able to come to power. They took advantage of this situation, and the result of it was Nazi Germany. In the same sense, the Night of the Black Knives set off the shattering, where Marika shattered the Elden Ring, and the war fought for it was very much bloody. You might be thinking, oh wait. You're getting too ahead of yourself, Gecko. Why on earth are you saying the shattering is similar to post-World War I Germany? A lot of people make the assumption that the shattering was just this one-all thing. It was the only problem with the Golden Order, and that everything else was fine and dandy. But if you really look at it objectively, even the Elden Ring being shattered isn't enough to shatter the Order like it did. And the fact that the demigods turned on each other so quickly suggests to me that there was already disputes and schisms forming inside the Golden Order. I don't agree with Ranni's methods because of the evil that it was executing Godwyn in such a way, and all the other demigods, because, make no mistake, another connection, there were multiple demigods killed, as we can see with the mausoleums. Saying that, I do think the Golden Order would have crippled sooner rather than later, even without Ranni doing what she did. Making a connection between post-World War I Germany and pre-shattering. They were both in a time of strife, which allowed the stuff that happened after to occur. For if the demigods and gods which rule over your world are bickering like it's some shitty soap, that doesn't brood well for the well-being of the people that actually inhabit their world. While on the topic of the manipulations, I want to go back to Adolf Hitler and the further connection to Ranni. Another way that Hitler was able to manipulate Germany was due to his charisma. Both Ranni and Hitler are charismatic. They both portray their words in a certain way as to not reveal their true intentions. They tell you exactly what you want to hear to make them seem like honest and just people, when in reality they were anything but. Believe it or not, there's actually another parallel which has something to do with the anti-Semitic beliefs of Hitler. If you didn't know, in Germany around the time of World War II and World War I, it was very, very common to be brought up with the belief that Jews were evil. This cultural belief had a really, really terrible effect. I'm not going to go into the details on what Hitler did to the Jews because that would get me demonetized and probably on the bad, very bad, naughty list of YouTube. But I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. Inside of Elden Ring, there is a lot of prejudice against different races, which kind of reminds me of how in Germany that culture was passed on from kid to kid. Buckle your britches because there is once more another connection between Ranni and Hitler, and it comes in their parents. If you didn't know, Hitler's mother was very, very overprotective. And I'm not talking about just a little overprotective. She was so overprotective that it got put in history books. Just put that into perspective. If we also look at Ranni's mother, Rennala, she is, let's just say, mentally challenged. She sits up in this egg completely consumed by the loss of her quote-unquote love. Considering how she treats the Great Rune of Unbirth, I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that she probably treated Ranni the same. Again, going over to the father, if you didn't know, Hitler's dad was a bit of a not nice egg. In the same sense, Radhn also does not seem like a very nice individual. He leaves his wife with just a Great Rune of Unbirth, and she turns to madness. He doesn't seem like a very nice individual, which these two characters have in common. Some people might be under the assumption that all the evil deeds that Ranni will commit and has commit are over, and that the ending is completely innocent even with the Japanese translation. But I invite you to think that this ending is not all that it seems. If we're going off the idea that Ranni is inspired by Hitler, we have to look at his rise to power. Another example of it is the beer hall push, which was a failed coup d'etat against the Weimar government in an attempt to wrestle control of Germany. Hitler failed and he was sent to jail. And I think there is a lot to learn from this in regards to Ranni. Ranni has only made one big power move, if you don't consider the ending. That first big power move was the Night of the Black Knives. Now if we're going off parallels here, the parallel for Hitler would be the beer hall push. So that means that World War II, theoretically in parallels, is still to happen. Oh, but wait, it is happening. The ending, the Age of Stars, that is Ranni's second push for power, just like how Hitler's second push to power was all to do with becoming Chancellor and taking over the country. I believe that Ranni's ending is a lot more darker than we might have interpreted it. A lot of people always thought, oh, there's something going on here, but no one could really know. But I think if we take into consideration everything we've talked about in today's video, I think there's without a doubt that Ranni is evil, or at the very least, not a very nice person. I know a lot of people always say to me when I make these kind of videos, oh well, no one's 100% evil inside of Elden Ring. And I agree, but I think if there's anyone there is going to be, or at least as damn close as you can be, it's going to be Ranni. I forgot to mention this earlier because I'm a goofy goober, but I'm going to mention it now. We're never really told of the many allies of Ranni. Of course you've got the few that we see, 3 at most, 4. But if we go off the parallels to Hitler, she's got far more in waiting. And if you go further with this, the Black Knife Assassins, we're never really told about who they are, but they are there. Personally, I'd absolutely love an Elden Ring 2 where we go into the Age of Stars, we become her consort, only to realise, shit, we fucked up and we picked the wrong side. We picked the wrong ending, and now the world is going to suffer, and it's up to us, the Tarnished, who would be Lord and is Lord, to solve it. Perhaps even becoming the god ourselves. I don't know, sniffing the copium, and I really wish that was the case, but reality, it's never going to probably happen. Sadly everyone, that is the end of the video. If you did enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel and it shows me you're enjoying this style of content. I'm not going to ramble anymore, as that's my sort of forte when it comes to outros and intros, so please don't you dare go hollow, friends, and may you find your worth in the waking world. Goodbye everyone.